In no special order, then, let me think about 8 or 9 megatrends. And there's a couple of issues that I think are important in each one of them. And in many ways, I'd like not to give answers. I don't have them. But I'd like to ask you to think about these as you go back to work. So we've seen the growth through globalization, through economic development, of a much more wealthy global economy, much healthier global society. That megatrend is there. A large chunk of this has been driven by the growth of urbanization. We're seeing the growth of megacities. I spend a lot of time now in China, and there are megacities there defined as cities of 10 million and more, of which many of us have never heard and would be hard pushed, even having been there, to point out on a map. By some figures, if you take the urban region, Chongqing, in the center of Sichuan, is the world's largest city with 40 million people right now. The problem we face in the Western world is a problem of sunk costs. We have huge infrastructure in place for the mid-20th century city. But the future is one of urban. The future is one of smart urban cities. They are more engaged with the idea of a disaggregated work life. They are more willing and able, or at least embracing, of taking time out to do other things. It's a much more fragmented workforce in terms of its perspective on work than we have seen before. Have we got the capacity as HR managers, as SME owners, to deal with the challenges thereof? They're footloose, they're mobile, they're incredibly smart. And despite technology, they're the future of work. So unless we embrace those challenges and give them the kind of work-life environment that they wish to have, we're not going to hold on to them. A huge issue for the globe and for Ireland is infrastructure. So there's a huge global infrastructural drive going on. This is led by China, but is not unique to China. It is quite possible the world's first inter-urban hyperloop will be in India. I alluded to the National Broadband Plan. The average speed in megabits per second in Ireland is now 18 megabits per second, which is pretty good. But it falls far behind the average in Singapore, which is 65. And 10 is seen as the bare minimum now for interaction with the world. The other issue about technology is the speed at which some of the computing technology is advancing is quite astonishing. The Internet of Things has exploded without anybody really wondering what's going on. But that mass ubiquitous computing, the transparent society, is going to impact upon the world of work. And are we ready for it? We're seeing the growth of a global middle class, defined as earning more than $1,000 a year. Yeah, we're all in the global 1%, by the way. So when you start talking about the 1%, that's us. The future economic locus is not in Ireland. It's not in Ireland. It's not in the UK. It's a bit in Germany, but it's mostly in India, Indonesia. The next 11 are a group of countries such as Egypt, Bangladesh, Ghana. Are we in a position as companies, as HR consultants, as HR directors, to take advantage of this growing, this exploding global middle class, where 2 billion people will enter the middle class globally over the next 15 years? 2 billion people. The biggest global megatrend is, of course, climate. Is the Irish government ready for 2 to 3 meters of sea level rise? I mean, Cork can't cope with heavy bloody rain shower. As organizations, ultimately, we need to take a long run. We need to take a perspective of how can we keep the organisation going forward. Are we prepared for those? Have we got the resilience? How aware are we?